Pick Pink and help TM Pick and Pay support breast cancer awareness. This time check is brought to you by TM Pick and Pay.
Here's hoping and trusting you're having a good evening and a good Monday wherever you are. I'm Vicky Maponga and Noble Mawungwa is at the sign language desk.
And I'm Justin Mahlatla. Sibukele Maposa will join us later on from our Montreal studios in Bulawayo, and this is the main news. Thank you once again for joining us. These are our leading stories tonight.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa encourages Zimbabweans to embrace new technologies. "35,000 tons of Fumvudza Intwasa inputs distributed to date." And this program continues across the country. In other news, Eastview abusive father to face the full wrath of the law. And later on in our look at sport, Warriors get down to some serious preparations ahead of AFCON qualifiers in South Africa. Let's now get into the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says any country which is actually aiming for modernization must embrace new technologies. And we get the details from our diplomatic correspondent, Josephine Mugio.
As the world embraces new technologies, electric motor vehicles are becoming more common and being touted as the alternative to those that use fossil fuels. A number of companies on the globe are now manufacturing these cars, and among those is Build Your Dreams Auto, whose headquarters is in Shenzhen, China. This Monday, the BYD Harare chapter handed over an electric panel van to President Mnangagwa at State House. The company officials took the president through the functions of the vehicle. For President Mnangagwa, any country aspiring to develop should embrace such technologies.
A developing country and a country with a desire to modernize embraces the latest technology. Zimbabwe is one of the countries in the region which has a desire to modernize. And this is the journey.
Electric Vehicle Center Africa, the parent company for Build Your Dreams Auto in Zimbabwe, Chief Executive Officer Dr. Patrick Masocha said there is need for more incentives in terms of importing the vehicles to ensure they are easily accessible to the ordinary Zimbabweans.
We have been selling since 2019. So the beauty about these vehicles, they are 100% electric. And they have got the latest technology on the batteries, which is called the blade battery. So the challenge that we have and the money that we spend importing fuel, if we embrace this technology, then that's done.
During his recent visit to China, President Mnangagwa visited the BYD Auto headquarters in Shenzhen, where he was taken through their latest range of vehicles. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Harare.
The Bulawayo community converged at the Babafield Stadium in the city to bid farewell to the late national hero, Colonel retired Chinga Dube.
Having been a staunch football fan all his life, the late Colonel retired Chinga Dube received a befitting send-off at the home of soccer in Bulawayo, where scores of people converged to pay their last respects to a man who not only changed the lives of many, but dedicated his life to the emancipation of Zimbabwean people.
The people are talking a lot of development which took place in Tumban, and it's because of his guidance, the wisdom. So to me, it's a very big loss.
Simkhumbula njengocommander oqotho, umuntu very principled, olenjongo yokufundisa even abasemva kwakhe. Even ngesikhathi sempi engicommander, laba babelaye babekhuluma ukuthi he was a dedicated soldier.
Ngumuntu lwana ozehlisileyo angasoze uthi ukuthi khona ngumuntu omdala. Wayikwana kuyo yonke indawo. He was a commander. He was a good man. He was a father. Kuye wonke umuntu nje.
Ubaba uChinga nguye umthunzi kade ususele koBulawayo. Besithembe yena nguye kade simela kukho konke politically and otherwise. Silahlekele kakhulu.
His family members took the time to reflect on lifelong lessons that he left them with.
Ubaba into zasitshela yena is family unity. Ukuthi ubethanda imuli yakhe. He was a family builder and he wanted love. He wanted people to have Christmas together. Spend all the time together. That's how he was.
The Bulawayo Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Judith Ncube, reflected on the life of Colonel retired Dube, citing how his dedication to the liberation struggle and the country is befitting of the honor bestowed upon him.
Allow me to thank His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa, for recognizing Comrade Chinga's hard work and conferring him with a national hero status.
A funeral parade in honor of the late national hero will be held at the Lookout Masuku Barracks, formerly known as Luelini Barracks in Bulawayo, this Tuesday, before his body is flown to Harare for burial at the National Heroes Eka on Wednesday. Grace Sibanda, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
May his soul rest in peace. Public consultations for the 2025 national budget have begun with education, health and agriculture dominating the hearings across the country.
Public consultations for the 2025 national budget kicked off this Monday with Parliament deploying teams across the country to gather views of the people. The hearings are being conducted by the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Budget, Finance and Investment Promotion, also created a platform for the public in Harare to provide their proposals ahead of the 2025 national budget presentation next month.
On health, we would be grateful if the budget can meet 15% according to the Abuja Declaration. We recognize that in 2024, the budget went up to 11%.
We're talking about having each and every province stand on its own. Do we have budgets for that? I think that is something of paramount importance.
Social safety nets need to be revised, especially for persons with disabilities in education. Specifically, when we look at BEAM, the facility is good, but for persons with disabilities, it only caters for school fees. What about the assistive devices that they need for them to be able to go to school?
We would like for the taxes to get into the economy to stimulate so that it can stimulate growth.
According to the Parliament of Zimbabwe, the hearings provide an opportunity to identify the needs of the people, take into consideration budget limitations on specific areas, provide recommendations to Treasury on balancing resources between the needs of the public and revenue generation. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, the budget consultations were also held in Rusape. We'll give you details to that in our other bulletins. Over 35,000 metric tons of basal fertilizers have been distributed to farmers under the Pfumvudza in Twasa program ahead of the summer cropping season.
The summer cropping season is around the corner and the government has made a significant step forward in the distribution of Pfumvudza in Twasa inputs, with the basal fertilizer now in the country's 10 provinces. The initiative is part of government's efforts to promote climate-smart agriculture and ensure food security.
We've mobilized inputs. To date, we've done 38% of the basal fertilizer requirements, with already 36,000 metric tons at the GMB depots out of the 95,000 that we are looking at. Additionally, we have started moving seed, and very massively so. We also have mobilized farmers to do the 3 Pfumvudza plots per household.
Government is also putting in place mechanisms to safeguard the inputs from unscrupulous individuals and companies through strengthening distribution committees and introducing the Pfumvudza in Twasa e-registration. President Emmerson Mnangagwa expressed satisfaction with the progress of the Pfumvudza in Twasa inputs distribution program during his State of the Nation address last week.
We remain optimistic in respect of the 2024 to 2025 summer cropping season, with projections of normal to above normal rainfall in most provinces of our country. I'm pleased with the pace of inputs distribution under the Pfumvudza Intwasa Presidential Climate-Approved Agriculture Production Scheme.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa is set to officially launch the summer cropping season Pfumvudza Intwasa program later this month. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Spitzkop residents in Jimba East are all smiles after another access stretch of the Solomon Mujuri Road was officially opened to traffic this Monday.
It was a long wait for motorists and road users in Spitzkop, an area bordering Mashonaland West and Harare provinces, as they expressed joy at the opening of the 5-kilometer stretch of the Solomon Mujuri Road, formerly Kekman Road in Jimba East constituency. The road was officially commissioned by Transport and Infrastructural Development Minister Honorable Felix Mona this Monday, with residents expressing joy at the development.
We are quite excited on the rehabilitation of the roads in Zimbabwe as it will make Zimbabwe to be more competitive.
Minister Mona highlighted that government is continuing with roads rehabilitation as promised prior to the SADC summit, pledging to cover more underdeveloped roads nationwide.
I'm happy again standing here after SADC, as you have alluded to demonstrate the work ethic of the Second Republic. But now we are happy that finally we've delivered to the people of Zimbabwe. And we are continuing, and this road is going to decongest Bulawayo Road, and it's going to lead into Harare Drive. Northbound traffic will be using this again, road to Chirundu, and vice versa. But the idea behind ON is to say we need to rehabilitate all our roads.
Funding for some of these roads is coming from the now restructured Zimbabwe National Roads Authority, ZINARA, which is working closely with contractors.
I'd like to assure the generality of Zimbabweans that as ZINARA, we've got enough capacity. We are disbursing weekly to the road authorities around the country. And I can say within the remaining months of the year, we still have additional capacity, over 50 million, that we will be disbursing for road works.
The Ministry of Transport and Infrastructural Development is spearheading several infrastructural projects, and last week, Cabinet approved a build, operate and transfer deal for the rehabilitation of the Bide Bridge, Bulawayo Victoria Falls Highway. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Jimba East.
Preparations for the ZANU-PF National People's Conference have reached an advanced stage. The party leadership is satisfied with progress made so far ahead of the gathering in Bulawayo.
2 weeks before the ZANU-PF National People's Conference slated for Bulawayo, the party leadership says everything has been put in place for a successful conference. In an interview at the party headquarters this Monday, ZANU-PF Secretary General Dr. Obed Mpovu said all departments have expressed their readiness for the conference.
The national chair is responsible for conferences, congresses, and all national meetings that are conducted by the party. And just last week, she convened a meeting in Bulawayo, which included all the heads of departments of the party, who gave reports on their readiness for the conference, because each department has to have an input on what is going to be done by their department at the conference. So in most items, if not all items, I think we are ready.
On the implementation of Congress resolutions, ZANU-PF is happy with the development thrust that government has adopted of leaving no one and no place behind.
ZANU-PF, through its leadership, through our president, His Excellency Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, is all over the country. You know, each province has got a project that it is doing. Each province has got something to talk about in terms of development of this country. You see, there are mines that have come up, new mines that have come up, roads are being rehabilitated, the tourism industry is flourishing, agriculture is performing very well. Now we are looking at the production of wheat, where we're expecting a yield of more than what we did last year.
At least 4,000 delegates are expected to attend the conference, which will run from the 22nd to the 26th of this month. The conference is running under the theme Industrialize and Modernize towards the attainment of Vision 2030. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, Harare.
The emergency school feeding program has received a major boost following the disbursement of a $15 million United States dollar cash injection to the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. The details.
Government's emergency school feeding program has made significant strides in addressing hunger in the wake of the El Nino-induced drought. According to the head of David Livingstone Primary School in Umguza District, Mr. Ngosinati Maposa, the program has improved enrollment and attendance.
Feeding them on Sasa, Strala, started this year. Yes, it has a positive impact. Enrollment, we maintained our enrollment, and there are no dropouts.
Matabeleland North Provincial nutritionist Mrs. Aleta Moyo acknowledged the impact of the program at a time when the province is facing high prevalence of stunting.
We are working on programs to try and reduce the stunting. We have the school nutrition program that we are currently implementing, and we are focusing on school meals. We are focusing on iron folic acid supplementation within the guidance of our school nutrition guidelines.
The Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Torirai Moyo, highlighted the government's efforts to provide grain and supplementary nutrition to schools across the country.
In addition to meal meal, the government is also allocated $15 million to procure things like beans, cabbages, and so on. But our thrust as Minister of Primary and Secondary Education is for the provision of school development units.
As a signatory to the School Meals Coalition, Zimbabwe is committed to ensuring every child has access to nutritious meals in school. The emergency school feeding program, a key component of the government's efforts to combat malnutrition, aligns with this global initiative to fight hunger and standard growth. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Umguza.
The Second Republic's rural electrification program is transforming lives, with the people of Zombe being the latest to benefit. Our Midlands Bureau Chief Tafara Chikumira filed the following report.
It is the dawn of a new era in Zombe after the Senkwasi Clinic electrification project was completed within a month. The electrification of the clinic, which serves around 4,000 people, is expected to improve efficiency at the health facility.
Mai vangu vasingakwanisi kuzorindira panapa ku waiting mothers home nekuti hakuna kwakusina magetsi. Of course solar tatinayo, but ku waiting mothers home kwakusina connect wa solar. But now that vezesa pavauya vabva connecta magetsi ikoko, tautarisira kuti madzimai emcatchment area yedu vakuya kuzogarirawo ku waiting mothers home.
Kune mishini ye technology kazhinji inoda magesi, saka panga pachiti kana paita makore panoita dambudziko rekuti hapana maservices akanyatsokwana.
Taisigwa magetsi kudai zvo zvinhu zvinotifadza zvikuru.
Chipatara ichi ndeche kumashure kuma 1950 Second Republic yauya nemagetsi panapa, madzimai vaibatsirwa, vanhu vakabata matochi, vakoti vakabata matochi nemakenduro.
The Rural Electrification Agency REA has vowed to continue the program, which is oiling the industrialization agenda.
To cover all those areas near to the grid,
By 2030, they should be electrified. But we also have those other areas that are off-grid. Our intention is to cover them through the solar microgrids.
Government is focusing on previously marginalized areas in line with its people-centered approach of inclusive development.
The Second Republic is implementing reforms in health delivery by building new facilities, re-equipping and upgrading existing ones, guided by an inclusive innovation and modernization trajectory.
The Second Republic's rural electrification program is part of government's deliberate efforts to modernize and industrialize rural communities to ensure every citizen plays a part in the country's development agenda. Tafara Chikomira, ZBC News, Jombe.
The Mbare flyover along Simon Mazorodze Road in Harare has become a death trap. 2 pedestrians actually died in the past 24 hours after being run over by illegal commuter omnibuses pick up points at the flyover. Set News, let's get the report.
A run or two is the case for most of the pedestrians crossing the busy Simon Mazorodze Road. Commonly referred to as the Mbare flyover, the place has become a death trap for pedestrians who cross over to Mbare after disembarking from commuter omnibuses. When ZBC News visited the area this Monday, it witnessed commuter omnibuses parked in sharp curves with touts battling for passengers at the expense of their safety.
Safe. Kana makomba yafana kutotakura vanhu ipapa bosi munhu anenge achibva oskobhagura nemota achimhanya nyangwe apa sekurosa kwandaita ikoko hazvitori safe futi.
Ndofunga kuti panoda pedestrian crossing nemahambu ekulimita speed emota apa.
Takuso kune vesiti council kuti vagona kuti vangaitawo sei vagotibvisiro here makombisi achona iwaya anenge akamirawo ipapa.
Zimbabwe Republic Police spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati has implored pedestrians to board commuter omnibuses at designated stations to avoid the loss of lives.
Drivers should always prioritize road safety. Drivers should ensure that whenever one is moving on the country's roads, they observe all road rules and regulations. You know, we are disturbed when you see drivers not stopping at road junctions, drivers driving against oncoming traffic, drivers driving against one way, or creating imaginary lanes. In the process, they run over innocent members of the public, or they collide with other motorists.
And of course, there are those daring passengers who prefer the ride clinging on the back of the commuter omnibus rather than the seat. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, we value your views and comments, so remember to check our social media platforms and share your views and comments on any stories that we air on our bulletins, on Facebook, on X, on our YouTube channel, as well as on our TikTok and Instagram channels. We are at ZBC News Online. Remember also to log on to our website and look at other stories there. That's at www.zbcnews.co.zw.
And we still have more news coming up after this break. Here's a look at what you can expect. In other news, an Eastview abusive father to face the full wrath of the law. Later on in sport, Warriors get down to some serious preparations ahead of AFCON qualifiers in South Africa. Those and more stories are coming up after this break, so don't go far. We'll be right back.
Zimbabwe's mining legacy is a story etched deep in our soil. It's a tale of hard work, resilience, and human ingenuity in unearthing riches and building a nation. This commitment to progress continues as mining industry players continue to unlock the vast potential of our mineral reserves, driving economic transformation through innovation, mineral beneficiation, and value addition. Are you ready to be part of the next chapter? Explore cutting-edge advancements and discover endless opportunities in Zimbabwe's expanding mining value chains at the 27th edition of Mine Entra, taking place from the 9th to the 11th of October 2024 at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center in Bulawayo. Register via our website www.zitf.co.zw. Mine Entra 2024, unearthing success, the mining value chains, innovation and industrialization nexus.
EMMA fighting corruption. By the very nature of the operating environment, business face considerable exposure to theft, fraud, and unethical behaviors. The Deloitte Tip-Off Anonymous Whistleblowing Services is a unique business solution that combats series of problems facing organizations such as corruption, embezzlement, abuse, dishonest, and other inappropriate behaviors in the workplace. The Environmental Management Agency, EMMA, subscribes to this whistleblowing service. All stakeholders of EMMA are welcome to use the Deloitte Tip-Off Anonymous hotline to report any unethical behaviors within EMMA that they may be aware of in a safe and confidential manner. Contact Deloitte Tip-Off Anonymous on the numbers appearing on your screen.
College life, freedom, friends, fun, until your stomach starts rumbling in the middle of a lecture because you are hungry and your classmates laugh. Meet Tinashe, a first-year student at college with an ever-grumbling stomach. Unable to cook proper meals, he was always thinking of his mom's cooking. Every time he tries to cook, everything goes up in flames.
His mom's words echoed in his head.
Tinashe, learn to cook. You'll starve in college.
Why don't you use EcoChat AI? A concerned friend advised him.
So he whipped out his phone and visited www.ecochatai.co.zw on his smartphone and got easy-to-cook recipes and tips.
In no time, he could cook a meal. Yes, sadza this time around.
Thanks to EcoChat AI. Visit www.ecochatai.co.zw
or dial *449# to get started. Ask questions and get answers in no time. EcoChat AI is a generative AI technology, a first in Africa. It responds in seconds with text-based answers like human responses. EcoChat AI features include multiple question and answer exchanges, content summarization, language translation, PDF queries, and more. Whatever the situation, whatever you need to know, EcoChat AI is brains on speed dial. Explore, learn, achieve, and rise with EcoChat AI today. EcoChat AI, brains on speed dial.
Powered by Cassava AI. Econet Wireless, inspired to change your world.
Welcome back. It's good to have you with us. In our next story, we're going to find out, and would also love to hear from you, how much is too much and how far is too far when it comes to disciplining our children. There has been a video which has been circulating on social media in which a man is seen assaulting his child, which has sparked a controversy over the extent to which parental disciplinary action should go.
In the video, the man in question, Noah Muzenja from Eastview Phase 6 in Goromonzi, is seen thrashing his 10-year-old son using a brick, barbed wire and a fan belt after accusing him of taking longer than anticipated at the market. With tears rolling down his face, the visibly shaken 10-year-old boy narrated his sad ordeal.
Nevonotenga maspaghetti kupona umwe moyo wakandimisa chinditi mire ndoda mari yangu yemadomasi ndati mama hawapo munozopiwa mari yanyu kana mama wacho kuti aiwa mira svika pakumira vha ndozobva dzokera ndonayo ndasangana nadhedhi buruwodi ngobata chiropo vha ndirova kuranonokerei ngochimirirei nawo kanditema nechitina pagumbo chehafu vandoniwa yakatuma wakafoira unorohwa kaita musikanzwa futi unorohwa.
Neighbors confirmed Muzenda has a long-standing history of physically abusing his children and bullying fellow residents.
I grabbed that part of my stand, claiming Diabo. He had been through the courts, where he was convicted on 2 accounts. But then he wouldn't leave. Akaramba aripo chete achiramba kuti ndepake.
Pane imwe time yandikatombomona akasimudzwa makumbo akaraswa nemusoro achibvonyongodzwa sopasi. But zvanezuro manje takamuona pawinda achirohwa akatanga achirohwa nechirabha cheblack. Ndobva akuziva izvo ndikakurova kusvika ka20 chingokurova. Ndimandikwadza zvose hausati wakwana.
Hatinambozvitarisira kuti tingagara nemunhu akadai munzvimbo medu muno. Saka tinotarisa mutemo ngaumutore chasi umubate. Nekuti hatitarisiri mwana wako kuti zera remwana uyu anzai kushungurudzwa saizvozvo hazvina kumbonaka.
Child protection advocates underscored the need for a multifaceted approach in order to protect children from violence in the home.
In Zimbabwe, corporal punishment in the home is not explicitly banned by law, but it is discouraged. The Children's Amendment Act 506 recognizes the need to protect children from abuse and neglect, and while it allows for parental discipline and upholds the right of parents to administer reasonable punishment, it emphasizes that any punishment should not be harmful or degrading.
We urge parents, where they have had challenges with their children, that they actually employ other non-harmful means to discipline their children.
Meanwhile, Muzenda has been arrested. Festus Mgongorotse, ZBC News, Harare.
We'll certainly be chasing this development and we'll be giving you updates on our other bulletins. So be sure to follow us, especially on our social media handles on Facebook as well as on X. Time now for us to cross over to our Montrose studios where we are joined by Sibukele Maposa. It's a good evening to you, Sibukele.
Thank you very much, Justin and Vicky. You know, I'm just trying to hold back emotions after that story. It's difficult to see how parents can be so ruthless, but let's take a look at stories from this end. In a major boost to the local economy, the government has established a village business unit for youths in Ombwe-Shirugwi aimed at improving rural livelihoods. Let's hear more.
The initiative is part of the ongoing Presidential Rural Development Program, which prioritizes previously marginalized communities in the National Transformational Growth Matrix. Local youths have welcomed the development, citing revenue generation and business establishment opportunities.
Vana vechidiki tanga tisina zvekuita, tadzidza tapedza chikoro kwekushanda kwanga kusina. Saka sema youth yatisimudzira.
So far zvinoganira zvinhu zvakawandisa zvakafanana nemachild marriages nekurumidza nemadrugs vanobatwa nemavita chaiwo zvekuita. Saka zvinhu zvakanaka zvikuru.
Shirugwi North Legislator Honorable Joseph Mpasi weighed in explaining the importance of the project in the face of climate change.
Ndo vana baba vamangwana kana tikava empower tikameka sure tarovedzera sezvinotaurwa nebhaibheri rovedzera mwana nzira tikavaitira chinhu chakadai toda kutenda honorable minister deputy minister vauya kuno kumayouth army.
Deputy Minister of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training Honorable Kudakwashe Mpamanga emphasized the government's deliberate plan to support previously marginalized communities, aligning with the National Development Strategy 1.
Mayouth ekuno vane chido chekurima, saka panapa vachave vachichererwa borehole, vopiwa mafish pond, voisirwa drip irrigation tank, saka mvura yekunwa, mvura yekurima, zvese zvinenge zvichiitika panapa.
This project is part of a larger government initiative to drill and equip bores in all 35,000 villages nationwide, ensuring potable water for all, in line with the Agriculture Food Systems Transformation Strategy and National Development Strategy 1. Karajushe, ZBC News, Shirugwi.
The smallholder wheat farmers in Zaka are thrilled with the government support, which has enabled them to start harvesting their wheat crops and prepare for the upcoming summer cropping season.
At Fuve Panganai Block B irrigation scheme in Zaka, 40 hectares of wheat were planted, and some farmers have already begun harvesting their portions using traditional sickles. The farmers expressed gratitude for the government support, citing inputs and technical assistance as key factors to their success.
Ndiri murimi weFuve Panganai irrigation ndakapuwa mainputs angu na president vamunangarwa ndikarima 0,5 yangu ndikawana goho rangu ndinototasira kuti goho rangu riri nani takuti tanga tocheka gorosi rangu rimwe ndoda ndisa kuGMB.
Zvinhu zvinonakidza kuti tikapuwa mainputs edu tiite zviri pamutemo nawo.
Ndakarima gorosi rangu ndima 0,3 takapiwa mafertilizer nembeu saka ndotenda kuti zvinobuda zvakanaka chaizvo chaizvo.
Varimi vedu nemhaka yakuti vakadzvara ndima diki vari kucheka nesikiri kuitira kuti vakwanise kunge vachibudisa goho mumunda risati raniwa nemvura.
The government's winter wheat initiative is a game changer for both farmers and the community, providing safety net against hunger. Government is also working on bringing new technology to assist smallholder farmers in harvesting their crops.
Kuno kuri kurimwa wheat yakanaka inoita kuti iende mu drought mitigation program. Tinotarisira zvekuti tichingobvisa wheat tautomhanyisana nokuisa chibage. Mukatotarisa mwe minda yatova nechibage isina kunge yakaiswa wheat. Chimwe chetinoda kuita sehurumende ku modernize nyaya ye-harvesting.
This winter season, the country is targeting 600,000 metric tons of wheat, and harvesting is now in full throttle, with government availing combiner harvesters for farmers. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Zaka.
Women from diverse backgrounds gathered in Harare for the Real Women Summit, a visionary platform designed to empower women by unlocking their talents, exploring multiple streams of income, and fostering leadership development, all while emphasizing their vital role as pillars of family units.
The Real Women Summit, themed I Am Next, energized, empowered and elevated, recently brought together influential women from Zimbabwe, South Africa and Zambia to share their expertise with young women. This empowering event was strategically timed ahead of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. Key discussions centered around strengthening women's business acumen without compromising family roles.
Women and men are doing a lot of things, but they are not visible. So my organization, in the launch of the Real Women Summit, we are here to prepare women to start being visible.
Groundbreaking female bus operator Dr. Afra Nananga believes that both men and women can excel in any sector without breaking the family unit.
From boardroom to bedroom, for you to make it to complement each other, to be easier for you as a woman who is coming from the boardroom to the bedroom. You need to catch your children young. You need to work together with the family.
Attendees from various countries shared their insights, acknowledging the challenges faced by women in business.
The more we gather as women to enlighten each other by the different social ills that we can recognize and uproot, but also by just the plight of giving each other transformational ideas.
I'm happy to be part of this summit because when you talk of real women, it's not just a women's summit, it's a real women with real conversations, real testimonies of how they've made it.
What we're doing here really is powerful, and I strongly feel that the Zimbabwean women and men as well can benefit so much from both the book that has been launched here today as well as the summit itself, because it is building the woman in all areas of her life.
The Real Women Summit also served as a platform for selecting delegates to attend the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women 69 in early 2025. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
The trial of the Citizens Coalition for Change legislator for Sunningdale, Maureen Kademaunga, continued at Harare Magistrates Court this Monday, with the investigations officer presenting evidence against the accused person.
The state led evidence from a key witness from Law and Order who maintained that according to their investigations, one of the accused persons, Councillor Clyde Mashojera, was positively identified at the scene of crime by someone who knows him. The investigations officer further testified that cell phone records revealed that Mashojera's mobile network was active within the vicinity of the crime scene, strongly implicating him in the offense. However, the quartet tried to exonerate themselves by submitting that the investigating officer's statement contradicts with that of the other officers who testified before him. Maureen Kademaunga, who is the Sunningdale legislator, is facing attempted murder charges alongside 3 others, including CCC Ward 10 Councillor Clyde Mashojera. According to reports, the incident occurred on the eve of 2023 general elections when Kademaunga and her co-accused allegedly attacked 3 complainants, Siri Unyauchi, Atwe Omarwa, and Spencer Mdarikwa, who were distributing food to ZANU-PF election agents in Sunningdale constituency. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
And that'll be all from the Montrose News Desk. I am Sibigele Maposa. Now handing back to Vicky and Justin in Harare for the rest of the bulletin. Good evening.
Many thanks there, Sibukele. And now it is a year since the Israeli onslaught on the Gaza Strip began, and the international community has reiterated its call for an end to the siege on the enclave.
Tensions flared up in the Middle East on October 7, 2023, when Hamas militants staged a surprise attack on Israeli territory from Gaza. In response, Israel declared a total blockade of the Gaza Strip, home to 2.3 million Palestinians, before the crisis, launching airstrikes on Gaza as well as some parts of Lebanon and Syria, before starting a ground operation in the Palestinian enclave with the aim of destroying Hamas military and political structures. Palestinian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Tamer Al-Masri, continues to condemn the genocide against his country and people.
We should recognize that there is real genocide in Palestine, and the Israeli apartheid regime is committing this genocide with support from some colonial powers who are claiming that they are advocating the human rights, freedom of speech, children's rights, women's rights, and the other rights of the human being. Until now, for 1 year, we lost 42,000 martyrs. Israel, after 1 year, didn't recognize that the international law should be respected.
He further applauded the support from Zimbabwe.
I want to thank our comrades, brothers, sisters, and colleagues in Zimbabwe who are paying their solidarity with the Palestinian people all the time, especially during the genocide. And I highly appreciate the efforts of His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa for in his speech that was delivered by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Comrade Frederick Shava, 10 days ago in the United Nations, by his insisting in stopping the genocide.
The 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly saw world leaders calling for an end without delay Israel's unlawful presence in the occupied Palestinian territory. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
That was a look at some news beyond our country's borders. We are taking a break. When we return, it will be time for business. Stay tuned.
Steelmate Investments is your leading supplier of steel and roofing sheets for all your IBR sheets, field fence, galvanized wire, defense, barbed wire, beams, deformed bars, and so much more. Contact our head office on 0788 930 556 up to 61 or our Mbari office on 0788 930 550 up to 5. Steelmate Investments, your friend in steel.
With Showmax, your favorite characters now follow you anywhere. Download it today and watch the best in local, international, and everything in between.
And we get straight into business. Thank you for staying with us. The African Development Bank has extended credit lines worth over 50 million United States dollars to Zimbabwe's private sector since January this year.
Presenting an update on the AFDB's operations in Zimbabwe, Country Manager Ms. Mono Mpotola revealed the bank's commitment to providing support for Zimbabwe's private sector. She noted that the multilateral financier will further commit more resources to productive sectors of the economy.
So far this year and late last year, we provided 55 million United States dollars to the private sector, mainly through lines of credit with commercial banks here in Zimbabwe, Central African Building Society, NMB, FCB as well. The idea is by providing these lines of credit, domestic banks can then on lend to their clients and also to the productive sector.
Global Renaissance Investments Chief Executive Officer Mr. Ngoni Zashe asserted that the FDB support reflects its confidence on Zimbabwe's economy.
It's a good facility for the private sector to be on board, and also it will enable the development of the country, since it will be going towards mining, infrastructure development, manufacturing. It will also boost the GDP of the country. So the lines of credit, that's what has been lacking, because most of our manufacturers, our miners, exporters do not have such facilities.
The multilateral financier continues to work with the government of Zimbabwe on policies to clear the nation's external debts. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
To the arts now, where Zimbabwean gospel musicians Everton Mlalazi and Dorcas Moyo are basking in glory after winning big at the Climber Africa Awards held in Abuja, Nigeria at the weekend.
To be outdone is female gospel musician Dorcas Moyo, who won the Africa Best Female Artist of the Year award.
Edwe ndine mfaro wakanyanyisa kudenga kuna mwari unoshamisa musi weSaturday nyasha dzakandiringana ndakanga ndiri kuAbuja kuna Nigeria kwandakanga ndiri nomini kusanganisana nevamwe vaya madzimai 4 ekune dzimwe nyikawo dzakatikomberedza dzemuno muAfrica ndakakwanisawo kuwana Africa Best Female Artist of the Year 2024 award. Ndakauya nemukombe kumba regai ndingoti award ndoda kuidzosera kumhuri yeZimbabwe nekuti pasina imimi hapana inini.
She battled it out with some of Africa's powerhouses, including Nigeria's Mercy Chinwo, Winnie Mashaba from South Africa, and Kenya's Janet Otieno. Mlalazi and Moyo have taken to their social media pages to show their gratitude to Zimbabweans for their support. The 8th edition was held under the theme The Rebirth, an expression of a new season to showcase the vision of Climber Africa, which celebrates, recognizes, and appreciates Christian talents and impact makers in Africa.
And that's the arts. Stay tuned for sport with Anashe Murombedzi after these messages.
Join us for the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation's annual golf tournament on November 8, 2024 at the Royal Harare Golf Course. This event celebrates partnerships and excellence, offering a day of great golf and valuable networking. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or a novice, this is your chance to showcase your skills and have fun. Don't miss out. Mark your calendars for sponsorship opportunities and bookings. Don't hesitate to get in touch with Claris on 0712-842-138. See you on the...
Shark on the line. He took my fish.
I really want you to find someone nice who would mean the world.
Sports Corner, Anasha Brombedzi here with the latest in the world of sport. Now, Warriors coach Michael Onizi is in the eye of a storm for failing to respect FIFA statutes. This comes after Caps United and Dynamo's players were forced to miss the Harare Derby when the other players have been allowed to turn out for their clubs during the same weekend.
Caps United coach Aloy Chitembo and his Dynamo's counterpart Lloyd Chigoe were not amused after players were forced to miss a league match which was played outside the FIFA calendar. Dynamo's vice captain Emmanuel Jala and Caps United captain Godnos Murwira missed the Harare Derby on Sunday after they travelled to South Africa with the senior national team, which is set to play in Namibia on Thursday in a 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. FIFA statutes are, however, clear on the call-up of players to the national team. The statutes state that, I quote, a club holding the registration of a player called up to play in the national team must release him or her to the National Association on the fixed or set dates for the international matches in each calendar year on the international match calendar. The statutes also go on to say, if the player is called up to play in a qualifying match for any international competition, this period shall be 4 days, including the day of the match. In this instance, the FIFA dates are 7 to 15 October, but the players were forced to leave the country on the 6th. What has not gone down well with the Dynamos and Caps United coaches is that some players, including those based outside the country, fulfilled their commitments while Jalai and Murwira were barred from representing their clubs. Our former FIFA technical director, Wilson Mtekede, has called for dialogue with respect.
Mutual discussions or dialogues should be there, and there should be mutual respect for institutions. Yes, I think every player or every club loves to see their player playing for the national team, as well as also even the national team also wants the best players available. So there should be mutual respect and mutual dialogue so that this is settled.
Meanwhile, locally based players and their South African counterparts are now in Johannesburg. Strikers at Tinotinda Kadewe and Tanda Chireo have been ruled out through injury, while Douglas Mapfumo has been called in as a replacement. Centre-back Mnashe Garanganga is struggling with an ankle knock and will travel to South Africa to be assessed by the Warriors medical staff. Namibia will host Zimbabwe on the 10th at the Orlando Stadium in Johannesburg before Warriors return the favour on the 14th as the two battle in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Namibia have since announced that the match on Thursday will be played behind closed doors. Lawrence Tusida, ZBC News, Harare.
With the destination of the 2024 Casablanca Premier Soccer League title almost decided, focus has shifted to the relegation zone where 8 teams are still facing the dreaded chop.
Ambitious Shamba-based side Simba Bora have one hand on the PSO trophy after opening up a 9-point lead at the top with 5 matches to go before the end of the season. The Shamba-based side collected maximum points after a 1-0 victory over Chikenina, while second-placed FC Platinum dropped 2 crucial points following a 2-0 draw with Awange. Simba Bora will win the league if they get 7 points from their last 5 matches of the season. While it is almost foregone conclusion at the top, teams are still neck on neck at the other end of the table. New Boys Chegudu Pirates will live to fight another day after getting the better of fellow relegation candidates Bigita Minerals with a 2-1 victory. The winners saw Pirates moving from the foot of the table to 17th, exchanging places with fellow league debutants Areneo. Areneo suffered a 5-3 loss at the hands of Yada, who moved to 37 points, which almost guarantees them PSO football next season. Third from bottom Wange are 3 points of safety with 28 points after their 2-0 draw with FC Platinum. Bigita Minerals occupy the last relegation position with 31 points alongside the Blaue Chiefs in 14th position. Greenfield on 33 is BC Kariba with 34 and Tier 1 on 35 are not safe either. Last season the cutoff was 38 points, while in 2022 it was 35 points. The story was totally different in 2019 as Chapungu and Tier 1 were all dumped out of the league with 40 points. The 40-point mark has generally been a safe space, and that should ring alarm bells for Arano Movers and Chegudu Pirates who will not reach the points tally.
Football analysts have implored authorities to introspect and reflect on the message sent to them by Highlanders fans who boycotted the club's match against ZPC Kariba at the weekend.
As the football administrators, we should take note of what
the owners of the game their grievances are, because for the supporters to end up taking the stance that they've taken is because they might be realizing that something is is amiss, something is not right. As administrators, we're now supposed to look at a lot of issues that are affecting our game and nip the problems in the bud so that it doesn't end up manifesting into more boycotts of a similar nature, because human beings are creatures of nature who, when faced with being pressed on the corner, they all retaliate. It's up to the PSL to realize that supporters are seeing something that is amiss in the grounds, not pertaining only Highlanders, but pertaining on the number of clubs that are starting to complain. There's something that is wrong.
The Mbare Junior Development Football League has launched an appeal for support for relevant stakeholders to resuscitate junior football structures in the country.
Ini ndoda kusiko kurene bora ndoda kutambira Madrid ndoda kanda kapiwa mkana ndoda kuti nditambire Zimbabwe ndotambira kuamrana kana ndakura ndoda kuzotambira Man City ndofarira kutamba bora ndoda kusvika kure nebhora ndoda kuenda kunze kwenyika ndoda kutambira Barcelona.
The utterances from these youngsters represents the voice of many budding footballers from underprivileged backgrounds, but with a dream of taking the country's football to the next ball level. As they play on the clay pitch in their neighborhood, Mbare, grassroots football has been neglected for the longest time in Zimbabwe, with no proper junior league structures, which has led to the death of pure football talent in the country. They daydream with hope that one day fortune will smile at them by turning their dreams into reality, but their mentors worry that if nothing changes, their futures might suffer.
Isusu tirikulekawo support tachikumbira kuti zifa kana ichikwanisa kuonekwa inogona itibatsire kusimudzira vana ava zvipo zviri muvana ava so that zvipo izvi zvisangoendera mahara.
Football enthusiasts in Mbare have set up junior league structures in their community after identifying talent on the streets, but they continue to be downplayed by the lack of funds and playing facilities. Reynald Ngwarati, ZBC News.
To conclude sport, efforts by new chess clubs to promote the sport are bearing fruit after 2 young female chess players were ranked in the top 10 of the African chess rankings.
In a recent ranking by the International Chess Federation, 2 Zimbabwe young female chess players, Princess Elina Ncube and Elizabeth Tinewimbo Chimboza, were rated number 9 and number 10 in Africa under the women aged 10 and below category. This effectively makes Princess a student at Mother Touch International School in Victoria Falls, the youngest ranked player in the country. Princess and the chess patron at the school are optimistic.
I'm pretty happy about it. It's good for me. I just need to practice a bit more and very soon I'll be actually top. In the next 5 years, I see myself as a great chess player traveling around the world.
We are more than happy. We actually offer the moon as a chess club because we've seen you put in the work and it is now paying off.
Victoria Falls Sport Academy, which trained Ncube, is committed to grooming more chess players.
So trying to get into schools so that we get some kids coming through to our academy to practice and play chess.
Chess is traditionally an elite sport, but through various efforts, the game is being taken to most parts of the country. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
That's it from the Sports Corner. Now let's take a look at the weather.
It was cold this morning across much of the country. Hello and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast. Brief cloudy periods are projected for tomorrow, especially over the southern parts, but by afternoon it should be generally sunny and warm, as seen here in our satellite image, where we get touches of cloud over the southern parts on Tuesday and Wednesday. But by Thursday into Friday, it should be sunny and warm again. For our detailed temperature forecast, we're expecting more of the mild category above 15 across much of the country, except for the eastern parts, where we're expecting 14s and 13 in Harare and Mutare. For our afternoons, it should be warmer over the north, where we're expecting 35s and 37s into Kariba, but cooling winds should cause a slight drop over the southern parts of the country. And as we look into our detailed forecast, Bulawayo is projected to be generally sunny and warm across much of those days. And we look into Chinhoyi, we're expecting full sunny skies with maximums above 33 for most of the day. Looking into Gwanda, we're expecting more of the cooling winds just for Tuesday and Wednesday, but it should be warmer as the week progresses. For Gweru, we're expecting sunny skies with minimums in the cool range for most of the days, but it should be warmer by afternoon. For Harare, we're expecting more of the sunny skies and maximums above 30, which is in the hot category for Harare. Kadoma also in the hot category with maximums of 33 and 34 as we get later on in the week. Kariba at 34 by afternoon with sunny skies also prevailing for much of the week. We're expecting more of the sunny skies over Kwekwe area with maximums of 32 and 33. Lupane, sunny skies projected with maximums of 35 and 37 over those areas. Masvingo also under sunny skies with a bit of chilling winds on Tuesday and Wednesday. For Matopo, windy at first but becomes warmer as the week progresses. Nyanga with sunny skies, maximums of 23 and 24 as the days progress. And Victoria Falls, under sunny skies, it should have maximums of 35 across board. I'm James Goma Jr. for the Met Department.
Looks like we're going to make a date again tomorrow, same time, same place. Many thanks, of course, to Anna Shea for sport and the Met Department for the weather.
And that's it, Vicky. Have a good night.
Good night.
This week, we are celebrating the customer service